Good night. It's late out here, and Man United are out of the FA Cup, losing on penalties to Middlesbrough. Greetings, everyone. Greetings. It's OMONDI Jim here for the Man United Agenda, and I'm joined by a man who should be knackered and frustrated right now after doing a live watch along. That's Mr. B. How are you, Mr. B, or should I be asking you?
Nah, you did. There's just no need to ask, boy. I'm raw right now, boy. I'm raw with that game, boy.
I was listening to the watch along, and you decided to sort of settle down. You didn't want to get hit with the swear jar. You sort of were holding your peace. But now's your opportunity to talk about the games. Hopefully you let it all out. And all the way from the US of A, we've got our big giant in the house. That's Connor. Connor, I'm not going to ask how you're doing because obviously we know how you're doing. But yeah, are you ready to go in?
Yeah, I got the stats with me. I'm taking the place of I'm taking top spot here, and I've got the stats with me for the game to make us feel even worse.
There's a saying, guys. There's a saying before we go into the game. There's a saying that someone close to me you always say is that sometimes when you lose, you really win. And in that respect, I can think, well, we're out of the FA Cup. We've got a smaller squad since the transfer window. Maybe we can focus now on the main goal, which is probably being top four. Am I talking a load of garbage? Talking a load of garbage?
Yes.
Well, how do you feel? Yeah.
You're talking
Connor, is that can you see any sort of wisdom in that?
I think the wisdom I can take in this, it reminds me, Mr. B and OMONDI, it reminds me of that first game we had back after we had that big long break from COVID, when we had the COVID cases that shut Carrington down and had us, not playing for 2 weeks. Just showed extreme rust, and it's unfortunate because I think if we're on top of our game and our finishing isn't, not even Sunday League quality. I mean, shite. I was putting in better shots from that when I was 13 playing freaking comp ball before high school. But I think if that's something where we just need to knock off the rust and start finishing our dinner, it does show some promise for how well the team played. I mean, so here's the stats. This shows how this should have gone. 71% possession, 30 shots, 9 on target, versus Middlesbrough had 6 shots with 3 on target. We had 913 passes to their 369, 774 completed to their 233. We won 40 aerial duels compared to their 24. So in every step of the game, we dominated this Middlesbrough team, except for the fact that we left our shooting boots at home. If it's not for the fact, and I think, of course, Mr. B, of course, later we'll talk about the handball situation with their goal. But the fact of the matter is, it's like that. It's like every single time that we try and blame the rest, we try and blame one thing. We shouldn't let one thing determine how this game ends up. We let that goal deflate us. We couldn't get a goal back to put ourselves back in the lead, and then we end up losing on pens. If we had just finished our dinner, and I could just name 3 pure 4 examples: Sancho's goal, Rashford sitter, Bruno sitter, Ronaldo pen. Goal, and it's 4-1, and it's not even a worry. We're sitting here going, that's a tidy win. Look at this team, 30 shots, and we scored 4. What a game. But we didn't finish our dinner, and that's what kills us in the end. It's not the goal by Middlesbrough. It's not the refs. It's not VAR. It's not the officiating. This loss is on United completely.
So I would be a bit disheartened if I would have preferred to play the younger side, and then I wouldn't mind going out. But we played a really strong side today. The line-up: Henson, Dalot, Varane and Harry Maguire, Shaw, McTominay with Pogba. We could talk about Pogba, how he came back, how he thought he played with his comeback. It's been out a long time. Bruno played well in patches. Rashford, Sancho and Ronaldo. That's a Premiership starting side, I believe, apart from maybe De Gea might have been in goal. So we, like you said, the stats show that we showed our class against them. Just unfortunately, we didn't finish our dinner. But I felt Middlesbrough were quite comfortable. It's not that they were run ragged and they were falling down with cramp at the end.
We didn't lose this because the other team was better. That's the positive I take from this. I know I'm kind of grasping at straws here, but the positive I take from this over everything is we lost ourselves the game. No other outside force. Middlesbrough wasn't better than us. The ref didn't screw us at every turn. VAR wasn't just absolutely awful at every turn. The only reason that we lost this game is ourselves. So if it's something where we can now fix ourselves, get back to finishing our dinner and finishing the ball, we can see us start to improve. And now we're in 2 competitions only. So does that maybe possibly give us a little bit more focus for Champions League and the Premier League and trying to certify that we're in that top 4 and try and kick on the knockouts of the Champions League? That's the hope. But after this, it's sad to see that we're going out to it's a 2015 all over again, going out to Middlesbrough on pens when we should be really winning that game pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I agree. Mr. B, you've watched the game with TalkMU. I've sensed a lot of passion there from Talk. He was getting really frustrated. The swear jar count was going way up. I'd like to see what's in there right now. What were you guys talking about towards the end? Because I missed out. What was the feeling towards the end with you two? Is there any sort of telling factors that you're a bit more concerned about?
It's mad. We spoke about all of this, how much players we had before the window, and we drew for Mata and Jones. Now, if Sancho's injured, this is more what I was thinking. If Sancho's injured and Mata has to play the next game, we're going to be clucking like chickens against Burnley. I'm looking at the extra time, the fact that we've done all of that. Burnley have had their full 2 weeks rest. The fact that Ronaldo should have had 4 today. Let's be honest. I think he probably should have had 4. I can't believe the whole team was so wasteful. You could accept it from one player, but when the chances aren't falling just to one player and we still can't score, it's frustrating.
I'm okay with it.
You go.
I'm just okay. I'm okay if, like you said, like Ronaldo's just off of it. He has this one bad game where he misses a penalty, just can't really finish, and everybody else is on top. Bruno finishing his dinner, Rashford, everybody's on top. But having everybody, it's frustrating. And I could tell as someone watching you guys, I could tell you guys were frustrated. It wasn't that you guys were angry. It was just kind of frustration.
Yeah, it's a game that you've got to. Manchester United don't dominate teams very often. Let's be honest. Even with Ralph coming in, we had 930 odd passes. Guarantee you 750 of them was at the back. I don't think we're still not decisive enough. We still don't have that cutting edge. We're better, yes, agreed. But then you've got to look at the level of team that we're playing. If we do that against Burnley or a team in the Premiership, I accept it. That's fine. It's improvement, but we're playing a team a whole division below us. So I expected to have that. Dominance.
Could you imagine this is Atletico Madrid? Could you imagine if we were playing like this against Madrid on February? Could you imagine how bad this would be if we were playing Madrid?
No, that's a good point. But I was listening to you guys as well. And once we scored that goal, we did start off quite well. And everyone was really positive, including myself. Once we scored that goal, you guys in the watch-along team, you lot were saying we've dropped off, we're playing too slow now. It's like we're comfortable. And that was evident on the eye test for me as well. I do agree. We sort of seemed to drop off the pace. I thought this is about controlling the game now, seeing the game out in a way. But maybe it was a bit too much, a bit too complacent now, thinking the game was possibly over, given that we had the penalty, given that we were dominating the game and everything else. And they need opportunities like that. And we're going to go on to the goal because they equalised. And I think we obviously you guys in the commentary box, you didn't realise about the ruling. It's only because we had the opportunity to go and Google and get some research. But Connor was the first guy to come up with the information. And in this season, there has been a new changing in the handball rule. But to my, oh God, I will give my take on it in a bit. But can you read it out, please, Connor? Do you have the information about the new handball rule?
Yeah, so the handball rule, so it said before, so it says it is an offense if a player deliberately touches the ball with their hand arm, including moving the hand arm towards the ball, scores in an opponent's goal directly from their hand arm, even if accidental, including the goalkeeper. After the ball is touched their or a teammate's hand arm, even if accidental, immediately scores in an opponent's goal or creates a goal-scoring opportunity. And another part of the rule was also putting your arm in a position that makes yourself bigger with the intent to get the ball into your control so that you can go forward. I think what the problem is here is that, well, one, we've had a little bit of a rule change where the creating of the goal-scoring opportunity has been wiped from that entire rule. It's only if it immediately leads. So say, Rashford is in the box. It comes off of his leg and goes straight onto his arm because he's like this, and then he brings it down and is the one to score. That is where we would see that rule come into play. The two things I believe that were mentioned by, and that will be mentioned by the FA, is one, they think it's an accidental handball. They think the arms are in a natural position, even though I completely disagree. Your arms are out like this. It's not a natural position. Your arms are like this. It hits your hand. It's not natural. It's basketball. This is not the sport we're playing. But I also think that they're looking at the fact that they've taken out of the ruling that if it's led to a goal-scoring opportunity, I think it's now believed that it doesn't matter. If it leads to a goal-scoring opportunity, that should be handled by the defense, so they're not penalizing the offense for a handball as long as it's not a goal with the next touch. It's not a, and this has been mentioned perfectly, it's not the ref's fault. It's the fault of the FA and the people making the rules that is the biggest problem here, especially with that rule.
I mean, the thing is, what's so frustrating about that? I understand they've made the rule, but even if it was accidental, his first touch was taking the ball away from him. The handball dropped the ball onto his foot for him to make the pass. So, as much as it may well have been accidental and it wasn't purpose, it has directly led to him controlling the ball and being able to cross the football.
You know what, Mr. B, I'm with you on this one. So obviously, I had the opportunity to look at the rule, and I thought, okay, if you're going by the book, yeah, fair enough. But for me, if you miscontrol the ball and you handle it, then that's a grey area, because to me, as a professional footballer, you should be able to bring that ball down without using your hands. And they say, for example, if he was blocking the shot and it hit his hand was out there with control. He dropped the ball like that. His hand. So do you see what I'm saying? It's like his miscontrol has caused him, and he controlled it again with his hands. So I think with his hands being out, there should be discretion there.
What's insane is if this was Man United handballing that in our own box, that's a penalty. That's a stonewall penalty if that happens to a United defender, even if it is accidental ball to hand. And yet, this is the thing I can't stand with English refs. I honestly think English refs should never be able to allow the refs. If you're in English and you're a referee, just never ever get near the Premier League, because every time I've seen an English ref, they're just bollocks every single time. The inconsistency in defense.
I know I'm going to forget. Sorry. I know I'm going to forget. Mid-Toker, newest member. Thank you for joining the agenda, big man. Cheers. Sorry, Connor, for cutting you off.
No, it's all good. Good catch. I saw that and didn't click in my head. But the inconsistency of how things are called when it's an offensive handball versus a defensive handball is something that needs to be wiped from this game. If you're going to call it on a defender, you better call it on an attacker, especially if it's something that leads to a goal like that. Yeah, I think the fact that Gary Lineker says it best. Gary Lineker has it perfectly right. Is that the law used to be fine. Now they've changed it and made it a farce. Yeah, that is the problem. It used to be fine. It was a great rule, and now it's a farce. If you change the rules, if you're going to change the law and everything else, you have to look at every fine detail that can possibly happen. Because sometimes people bend the rules. They see new rules and they bend them to put them in their favor. Look at the offside rule now. With a man can stand offside from a free kick and then come back, and it doesn't have to come to him, and then it won't be offside. Whereas before, when I was growing up, if you're offside, even if you're not interfering in play, you're offside. This is standard. There's no argument about it. But now there's so much discretion involved in football, and this is why referees and officials have to use their discretion sometimes when observing things. A professional footballer can't bring the ball down like that, and he's got his hands in there and he uses his hand. To me, that's handball. I accept the rules, but there has to be, it takes cases like this to realise there has to be something done. I don't know if you guys remember, we played Tottenham a few years ago, a long time ago now, and Roy Carroll was in goal, and they lobbed the keeper from almost the halfway line, and it went over the line, and they got away with it. We got away with it. And then after that, and then Lampard's goal in the World Cup, for example, went over the line. We were, flabbergasted by it. We were hold on a minute, what's going on? But so since then, they've had this goal line technology to come in. It takes cases like this to really, for them to make a change in it. And I'm not complaining. I'm not upset that we're out. I think we can focus now on league games, but something needs to be done.
OMONDI, man. Really?
I'm not upset. No, I'm not upset. I saw in the first.
think
Let me say this before King. I saw enough in the first half to say, okay, I'm glad Pogba's the positives for me. I'm glad Pogba's back. Him on the ball, playing deep. He plays good, progressive passes. This is what we want to see. Everyone likes to talk about his negatives. I thought he was good on the ball. I thought Bruno was good on the ball, obviously, because he set up the goal. These guys can get their head up and look and see things that the other guys can't do. I thought Luke Shaw coming back. He still hasn't looked his best. Wasn't but at least we got balance there with two good left backs. I thought Harry Maguire and Varane were eating everything up, strolling out there, intercepting the ball, reading the game really well. So there's a lot of things there that I was really positive about.
OMONDI.
I don't mind.
We lost. We lost the fucking game, right?
We didn't lose the game. We drew. We actually drew.
OMONDI. We lost. We're out.
Yeah, I'm not worried. We can focus on the league now. Look at the mess we're in at the moment. Now we can focus on the league games. At least we know. Look at Arsenal. They can focus on the league. We got the Champions League now and the league to focus on. We got March coming up. Who needs these FA Cup games to really be a distraction?
I will say this. Chris Wilder's just commented. Chris Wilder's comments have just come out. Even he said, I thought it was a handball. I was surprised that it wasn't, but I'm happy it wasn't.
Yeah.
When the opposition manager even goes, yeah, I thought it was a handball.
Yeah.
I mean, the funny thing is the FA are such clowns that, of course, they're going to say it's accidental. When the opposing gaffer thinks it's a handball, you can see the player look at his own hand as he plays basketball like he's in the NBA. And it leads to a goal, and yet the FA and the VAR and the refs are so blind, they just go, yeah, fair enough, it's accidental. He didn't mean it. And
guys,
it's disgusting.
Let's get some feedback from the guys in the comments. Rebel's been sitting back watching the game all the way in Ireland. He says, congratulations to Middlesbrough. Take nothing away from him today. The handball rule is horrendous, though. So he's with you on that. We've got Bargaff in the house. He said, yeah, I don't know what else you guys could have done today. We could have scored a few more goals, maybe, and open them up a lot more. That's a bit of a disappointment for me. Big up for Mark. Barga, it's the romance of the FA Cup. This is what happens in the FA Cup. Matthew Bassett's in the house. He said, I hope the fans get behind Elanga and support him rather than abusing about the penalty miss. Any thoughts on that, guys?
You know what?
You said Shaw. You said talk about Shaw, don't you? Was you going to say about Shaw?
What did you hear about Shaw?
Shaw, so I've heard from many different people that Shaw was actually supposed to take our 8th pen. Luke Shaw and Phil Jones both said no to taking penalties. They were told that they were going to be penalty takers if it got to them, and they withdrew themselves from taking it, and that's why Elanga ended up being the one to go take the penalty. And I'm hearing more news that apparently, this is just disgusting news, by the way, and I put it in the private chat. It's come out right now that a Middlesbrough fan has just jumped Brian Robson's daughter after full time. That's all I'm going to say on that. I'm just going to say that, and I'm moving on.
I hope everyone's all right in that respect.
Yeah, but no, Luke Shaw looks completely just. He goes through these phases of looking like his old self from last year. We remember how good he was last year. That's where he got the Shawberto Carlos nickname.
Yeah,
but he just looks completely not himself 75% of the time. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. If it's something like the Lingard situation a while ago where it was personal things and the personal life that was affecting his play, and we saw that with Lingard, with everything that happened. I'm not even going to say what the whole thing was about. People who like United know about it. But something just looks off. It's the same with Rashford. They both just look off. And it's really worrying for me to see that, because those are two players who have been fantastic for us for, Shaw all of last year, Rashford for the last 2-3 years really have been very solid for us. And it's very worrying, especially with how thin our squad has become after the January window, to see how low on confidence and how uninspired they look every time they touch the pitch.
What can change that for me is just playing better football. Don't force things. I think with both players, they're trying to force things. Luke Shaw's raiding and go forward, using his left foot too much. He could have made a lot of more simple passes today. I think Rashford didn't use the overlap with Dalot. I think sometimes he's trying to shoot too much. He should look at Elanga and say I should make better runs off the ball, sort of, for example, and improve a game like that. You don't have to score a worldie from outside the box to get your confidence back. What you can do is make assists and start playing as a team. That's what I think that Rashford needs to do.
Shout out to MAISEY as well, by the way, for the super chat. Shout out to MAISEY for the super chat.
Oh, big up MAISEY.
She's out here supporting.
Sorry, just quickly, handballs, deliberate handballs. So Mark Edmund agrees. Hi to Turf Morehouse TV. He's a Burnley fan. He says, now you know how we feel every week. However, he feels for Elanga, a young lad in today's society, will be abused not for his performance, but maybe racially as well. But this is what happens with football, isn't it? 3 of their players went down with cramp. Oh, forgive me, I didn't see that. Sorry, guys.
OMONDI was fuming seeing those guys go down. Mr. B, I saw you. You were fuming every time one of those boys hit the pitch.
You know what?
They're playing. Yeah.
It's shithouser, isn't it? That's what you do. Last 5 minutes of the game, you're winning, or you want the rest. Man's dropping down on the floor. Then you walk over them. You're right. Yeah, I'm fine. Just stretch my leg, make it look like I got cramp.
Oh, Mr. B, I heard you in the commentary.
Listen, man, these are things that you do. You can't knock their professional hustle. These are things that happen in the game, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating.
What do you think about Mark Gemini? He's disappointed with Ronaldo. He said he's throwing his hands in the air, going down too easily. And if anything, it was poor today and should have been taken off.
I called for it. I called for it at halftime that he should have been off.
Who were they going to take? This is the problem now. It's crazy. We had all of these players before the window. We played today. Couldn't take off Ronaldo, even if he wanted to. We didn't have a replacement for him. Unless he was going to play Rashford up top and then move either Elanga or whatever. He could have done that. But let's be honest. Ronaldo is more likely to score in those positions than not today. Granted. Not today, but I would rather have Ronaldo as that top-end man to take the chances. Over Rashford.
I think what I saw a lack of today is like building as a team and getting crosses in. I keep saying it. I'm going to say it week after week and week until it happens. Getting crosses in from the 6-yard box. I think what we're doing now, we've seen a lot of our goals. We're intercepting the ball, and then in 2-3 passes, we're scoring a goal. Same thing happened today with our goal. It was like intercept the ball in midfield, head up, looked up, and Elanga made, not Elanga, who was it? Sancho made that Elanga run, which he made against Brentford the other day, and the defence had pulled out. He pulled in the space behind, and we scored from that. So that's how we're looking to do it. It's like 2-3 passes, and we score within 10 seconds. I'd rather see us get more width into the game and start delivering some crosses via our fullbacks. And if it leaves us exposed, because it did when they had a break, when they scored their goal, I was looking for Dallo. Where was Dallo? How did we get in a position where we're out of position, that we were ahead of the play in that area there? Even though it's handball or whatever, we were ahead of the play and we were running back, and they just played it into that space and they scored from it. So we weren't very I don't know why we were rushing or something, or how. I'm gonna have to go back and check the game, but how did we get in a position where we were ahead of the play and they had the one ball to look up and get into that area, and they were like in on goal? That's really worrying. Not really worrying, but I want to see that play again, because I didn't look at it at the time, So few areas of concern there.
I have one big word to describe this game in full: uninspired.
First half,
uninspired. Oh, fully. I mean, it's sad that the one who I thought was the most creative player of the entire match was Juan Mata. I mean, he made runs behind that big. Mr. B, I think you remember the huge long ball over the top where he was on his absolute horse. I didn't think he had the legs to do that anymore, but absolutely on his horse to grab that ball. He's whipping balls into the box over and over again. He's finding space. He's creating as much as he can. Mata, I think, was one of our biggest creative players, and he played for 15 minutes or so, and then came on and banged in his pen. It's sad that that's the case.
Connor, can we ask people for likes, please? Because it's late here. I know people.
Yeah.
At least let's get some likes in the house. There's 10 people watching live right now. Can you all stop what you're doing and just click on the little like button for us, please? And then you guys, we can wind up and go to bed. Handball, everyone's talking about handball. I don't want to focus too much on that. The worst thing for me is like not playing and not breaking them down. Mr. K says, OMONDI is like me, gentle souls, gentle man. Let's not get too tribal about it. It's no big deal. OMONDI, my guy, for reaching, mate. You're reaching. Okay, I'm reaching. Okay. and here we go again. Yes, handball's handball, but some refs, same as refs in bar booth, don't understand the definition, and they're just going by the rule basically and changing parameters on the rule. So okay,
it's
yeah,
getting changed every summer. It seems like we get like 4 or 5 different rule changes every season. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we get the rule? We had like 3 rules changed mid-season last summer, and it seems like there's been no effort to control the refs, teach the refs, or clarify any rules. Because if they would have come out and said, this rule change has just been made, here's what it means, here where it'll apply, then this would be a discussion about the handball, because it either would have been called back or we would have gone, okay, yeah, we know the handball rule, that was not a handball, move on.
Let me give you, there was a situation, I was playing Sunday League a couple of weeks ago. There's a situation where the guy went through on goal, the goalkeeper came out. So the guy was through on goal, defender was coming, goalkeeper coming. They all collided. They're in the box. The defender actually took him down, but they gave the defender a yellow card and gave the penalty. And I said, well, why wasn't that a penalty? Because it's last man. They said, we can't send. I didn't know about this. They said they can't
double
send
jeopardy.
off. Yeah, double jeopardy. They can't send
double jeopardy. So you cannot send a player off for a penalty.
Yeah. So that's another rule where I think, I wasn't aware of that, but I think, well, surely he should be sent off because he was kind of cynical, you know.
I will.
It happened to miss the penalty as well. So there's a lot of changes, I think. And here, do you want to read this one from Jackie? Because she's obviously done her homework, and she was saying that during the game as well. Rules for this season changed. An attacking player's accidental handball immediately precedes another player scoring. The goal will now be awarded, when last season was likely to be ruled out. Okay, so I think we've had a lot of clarity now on the handball. Can we focus now on how we need to improve? Are we seeing improvements under Ralph? Are people going to be talking now about the transfer window, saying we required more players, for example, when we're seeing people like, I know you're going mad about Sancho going down, Mr. B, you were saying we don't really have the backup for that. What would be our backup for Sancho now? Lingard, I imagine.
The
England international.
I'm not even going to talk about that.
Saved us.
I'm not talking about that blood clot. Honestly, he just listen. I'm sorry, man. He's just full of shit, OMONDI. He's just 10 days ago he didn't want to leave. A month ago he didn't want to leave. 10 goes. He keeps flip flapping, so nobody knows what to do. And then he goes on a 2-day jaunt because he's vexed that he didn't get his move. Listen, man, Lingard, I know he's gonna have to play. And yeah, he's going to score, but bruv, I hope it's the 4th and 5th goal in a game, so I'm not happy and I don't have to cheer it, man, because
Connor can't play it.
I ask you a question, Connor. So look, when we're looking at our squad, we've got Palestri. People talking about Palestri. He's on loan. He had a Uruguayan cap recently.
Chong's on loan.
Chong's on loan, but we've got Shawshire. He could play backup, and McNeil is a striker, really, isn't he? So there are players there that can come in and do it. Do a job.
These are unproven players, OMONDI. This is the problem at the moment, man. It's all
the problem is we left this squad too thin. We made 0 moves. It's completely baffling how just idiotic and brainless our board is at this club. And it's literally, if the top, it's the roots of the club all the way down. If the top's rotten, the rest of the team's going to be rotten. The owners are rotten to the core. And it's trickled down to the board, and it's trickling down into the team with how some of them act. The way that some of these players act, Roy Keane would have busted the crap out of them. And we've heard that he's going to be taking the Sunderland job.
Connor, you're saying the board, all right? You're saying it's the board. And I had a conversation as well with someone today. They say, it's the board. And people jump the board. But the board's not responsible for picking the team and coaching.
The board is not. But the board is responsible for how this club moves. The board is responsible for how this club moves.
When we're saying badly, why does it revert back to the board? It's about coaching the team. There should be a bubble around the training field. The board ain't coming in to train and saying, hold on, step aside. I'm going to take over this drill. It's down to the managers. And I think I've seen improvement in that respect.
I have seen improvement, but the problem is the board is hypocritical at every stage. We hear when he first comes in. We hear when he first comes in. The board will work with Ralph and give him the opportunity to sign in the January window. Come January, the board doesn't let us sign anybody because they're not sure Ralph is going to stay permanent manager. Who fucking cares? He's going to be at the club for 2 years after this.
from my understanding, the scouts have gone out and they've come back and said maybe this guy is not good enough and we should wait for a real guy. Maybe I'm just throwing out names. Maybe Kamara wasn't good enough. They've scouted it. Maybe I'm saying maybe they come back said with this scout report from a scout. They said probably he's not good enough. He's good. He can do A, B, and C, but probably not good enough. Maybe waiting to go in for Rice in the summer, for example. Maybe that was the suggestion, So it's not nothing to do with the board. It's to do with the scouts coming back.
Okay, Kamara, fine. I'm fine with Kamara being. I'm fine with Kamara being a no. But guess what? Zakaria just went for $5 million to Juventus. Fine. Zakaria, fine. He decides to go to Juventus because we did go in for him and he just picked Turin. Fine. Anybody forget that Kessié is out of contract at the end of the year, people? And if we're talking about someone who's good enough for, I was just saying, if we're talking about anybody who's good enough for this club, Frank Kessié would get right into this team and improve the midfield drastically.
So what I like refreshing about Ralph is Ralph has come out. If a player said something, he'd come in at the press conference and say, Martial said he doesn't want to play. You say Lingard wants 2 days break or something like that, or so whatever. He's coming out and being really clear, and there's a lot of clarity there. So I'm sure he would do the same about the board. Maybe he'd be saying the same at the board, and maybe he didn't want players. Maybe I remember him saying he's got 29-man squad here. Maybe he needs to filter it down a little bit and thing. So I think he's balancing the squad here. I don't think we're short. It gives the opportunity for other players to come in. Like today, we saw the subs. Langer's come on, Matta's come on. You said Matta done really well. We've also had Fred came on, so the midfield's pretty strong. Because we've got Bruno, McTominay, and Fred, and Bruno, McTominay, and Pogba in there. And then on the bench we've got Fred, and we've got Hannibal as well, and that's really refreshing for Man United to see that. And everyone was excited to see, thinking Hannibal could have come on the pitch today. That's
the problem is at this point is the board, and we saw. I have a direct thing of why the board is absolute poison. Look at the Lingard situation. I'm not going to call him the words that Mr. B calls him. I'm going to be a little bit more nice to him. And also because I don't want to say it, but 2 also because I'm not sure I'll get the pronunciation right, and I'll probably butcher it.
It sound like Cool Runnings. American.
Like I'm not even going to try and get it because I don't think I'll get it right in the first place. But Lingard is literally given the okay to move on.
Yeah, but there were circumstances, wasn't there, that meant we might had to keep Lingard, wasn't it? Because our normal right winger was he's out of the game now. I know he's frozen. It's probably cold right now in USA. They're talking about Mike's temperatures, aren't they? Yeah. So, Mr. B, we're going to wind down now because, Mr. B, because I'm sure your phone's going off. When we were up in Liverpool and we lost 5-0, your phone wouldn't stop going. I mean, all the banter.
It hasn't stopped.
I've had the same. I've had people, voice notes, all this kind of thing. Banter, FC, they're calling us now. And it was on terrestrial TV, and it will be front page tomorrow. If I open BBC Sport now, it's going to be there in your face. I don't feel shame. Do you think that's part of it, that we feel a bit embarrassed about going out like that, even though it wasn't penalties? Do you think that's part of it?
Nothing to do with embarrassment. If you have the amount of chances that you have in a game, I'm talking about clear chance. I'm not talking about half chances where we're curling the ball from 40 yards. Don't forget, Sancho hit the crossbar in the first 1-2 minutes of the game.
And Rashford misses.
Rashford, that's what I'm saying.
I completely forgot about that.
And this is my point. Bruno's chance where he hit the post, I froze the screen. Bruno had an opportunity where he is dead center in the goal, and the goalie is over there.
Twice.
Yeah,
twice.
Come on, man.
Twice.
It's not. I'm just frustrated because we created the chances and didn't win. Because there's going to be games where we're going to have 3 chances in a game and score 2 of them and win the game. I understand that's how football goes. But you cannot have the amount of chances that we had plus a penalty and don't win the game. So it's more frustration today. I'm vexed.
Anybody want to know the expected goals for United today?
No.
Nearly 10.
10 expected goals.
9.73 expected goals to 0.1 for Middlesbrough. Wow. That was the expected goals today. But
Okay.
I'm going to go back. My internet cut out, but I'm going to go back to the Lingard thing. Lingard was given the okay to leave. And then hours later, the board goes, yeah, never mind. Nope. Sorry. Ralph says he can go. But guess what? No thanks. Ralph agrees. Lingard wants to leave. Ralph says, yeah, that's fine. I understand. Like Martial that you want to leave. You can go. Board, fuck off. It's complete. How are we supposed to trust that the manager, whoever it is, whether it's Ralph still, or it's Ten Hag, or it's Poch, will get anything done when the manager consistently is undermined by our board? Happens with Ole. It happens now with Ralph. Once again, another manager being basically shown the middle finger and saying, go do one. We're just not going to listen to you most of the time. And if we decide that we don't like your opinion, we're just not going to listen to it. How do you not listen to the manager? I'm baffled at this point at how stupid this is from start to finish.
All right, guys. Now we're our fixtures. Yeah, we got Premiership games, and every one of them is really important. We have to start winning. We haven't been scoring a lot of goals. We didn't keep a clean sheet today, but we could argue about the goal. Maybe if that was in the Prem, it wouldn't. The rule is the rule, so that's a goal. Yeah. So going forward, are you still as confident? Has this dented your confidence that much, guys? Because I'm feeling okay. I'm thinking, okay, we played all right today. I saw some good things, and I'm glad Pogba's back. I'm glad to see that we've got a smaller, tight squad, and they're going to get around Elanga and lift everyone up, and we come back stronger. That's my attitude about the game today. It's no big thing. Final words from you two, please. Then we're going to turn it off.
I am worried. If we cannot finish our dinner against Middlesbrough, what's going to happen when we're having to fight and play Spurs, West Ham, Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Aston Villa, even Everton, Leeds? If we can't finish our dinner against a just below the playoffs championship side, I'm worried. I'm really worried about how it's going to go.
If anyone wants to watch along, TalkMU didn't know. I think that's going to be a major slogan going forward now. Anyway, let's move. Fewer fixtures. Here we go. So here, finally, we're going to finish up. Some positive things here. Fewer fixtures might help us. Rebel saying this is starting to prove my concerns, OMONDI. This could be a long back end season.
Oh my God, Sancho and Bruno go down and we're screwed.
Yeah, I must say Rebel's been sort of harping on about this for a long time now. And he's starting to look like he's got a good point. Yeah, I agree. And Middlesbrough, they're not going to win it, are they? They're not going to go very much further. I doubt it. But yesterday, look at our confidence in the show yesterday. We were adamant that we were going to win this game quite easily. And
we should have. We should have. Yeah. That's the sad thing. We should have.
Yeah. And finally, his central midfield collapsed after Pogba went off also.
I will say, and I will say again, we've got man in our midfield who can't. You know what? Let's cut this. Let's cut this. I got
enough. Anyway. Sorry, Mr. P, you were saying.
Oh, I don't know.
It's late. I know most people don't have work tomorrow, but
I'm ready.
We've got a whole weekend. When's our next game, guys? When's the next game?
Tuesday. We've got Burnley on Tuesday.
And is it away? Is that Turf Moor? Because we've got a Burnley fan in here. Is it away? Because we played them at home, did we? Or
let me check it. Oh, son of a...
And they've got a new 6'6" striker to replace Woods.
Yeah, you know what he's gonna do to us.
Yeah, Wakehorse, bro. I love that guy. I was scouting the crap out of him for us all year. 20+ goals last year for them in the German. He is a talent. I don't know how they got him for that little. It is going to be. It is at Turf Moor. It is away.
So here we go. Turf Moor, our man Turf Moor in the chat. We'll be seeing you soon. Hopefully you can come along and give us a little bit more insight into what's going on at Burnley since the transfer window and how confident you are after seeing us tonight. But on that note, I want to say, Connor, thank you so much for all the great insight and the information you shared and from watching the game. We might have bumped heads and disagreed, but that's what football's about. Mr. B,
It's all love.
big up,
It's all love.
big up, man. Enough respect, Mr. B, for you've done a double shift today. Go and hit up Solo for some overtime money. You deserve it for putting in a good double shift today. And yeah, we move on as Man United agenda. Obviously, we're disappointed, and we want to say shout out. Hope no one's hurt from the information you shared earlier about violence and all this kind of thing after the game, Robson, daughter, whatever. And Elanga as well. It's good of him to step up, and it was great to see the players get behind him and put their arm around him and sort of try and support him like that. So I don't think it'll dent his confidence because he's been fantastic so far up to this season. So guys,
bro, if his pom-poms aren't feeling well, he's got to sort it out.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. We're going to sign out now. God bless you guys. We'll see you soon on the Man United agenda.